So I arrived yesterday to Sedona, Arizona, to go to a conference, an event from Greg Braden called Pure Human, and really excited about next 7 days vacation here, and just really just taking everything all in. So many beautiful lush mountains and scenery, and just the drive here was just so picturesque. And I got to meet a lot of great people in the shuttle here. What I wanted to share with you today in this video was a question that I keep getting asked by my clients. And that is, I'd love to begin paying off debt, saving, increasing my income, and investing, but where do I start? So people are kind of struggling with this and finding answers. And so I know a lot of people approach this very differently, but I just wanted to share with you my approach, or how I've seen it's worked well for me in my financial journey, and hopefully it can be something that you can select which strategies work well for you. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is you want to start with a beginner emergency fund. So that's about $1,000, a beginner emergency fund. And the reason why this is really helpful is because, let's say, things come up. Let's say your car breaks down, or there's a medical bill that you need to take care of, or just anything that pops up, you're able to go ahead and take care of that. So you want to first shelter yourself and have that little buffer between you and that checking account that you have to take care of your day-to-day expenses. So the first thing I would say is to start what I call a beginner emergency fund. Okay, so we'll talk about how to complete it and what that full picture looks like. But the first is the beginner emergency fund. I'll tell you a little story. When I did not have an emergency fund, it really affected me because at the time I was making six figures and I was doing well, but I didn't take saving seriously. And I took care of all my expenses, all the bills were paid, and I had more than enough to take care of for disposable income too, and just kind of go shopping and stuff like that and travel. But I was just thinking, you know what, I'm young, I have a great job, everything's okay, there's really no need for savings, I'll save later, right? And then I'll save later, and that continued to come up. But then guess what? I lost my job. And that really affected me. But then I thought, that's okay. I'll find a job fairly quickly in just a couple months, and I'll be okay. Well, that didn't happen, and I couldn't find an equivalent position. And so that put me in a very just a precarious state. I was distraught and very scared. I was scared and afraid, and I was embarrassed, and I felt ashamed. And I know that a lot of times we don't talk about these things, these emotions that come up, but there's a shame and embarrassment that comes when you're in a financial situation, and also too is a lot of times people tend to play the victim and blame. Well, it's very empowering when you stop blaming and you actually look within and realize, okay, how could I have avoided this? And I knew I was self-aware enough to know that I could have completely avoided this stress and anxiety that I put on myself had I done my due diligence and took the time to take my finances seriously. And I had it before, but I think I needed that as a wake-up call to really go ahead and get my act together. And so I knew that that was something that I really was going to take care of once I got a new job, and I did. And I find that having that emergency fund, maybe that word doesn't work for you. And I know I studied neuro-linguistic programming, and I know that is something that affects people to kind of think of it that way. But one way that you can think of it is I'm sorry, there's some noise down there. One way that you can think of it is as a peace of mind fund. So this is the fund that gives you the peace of mind should anything happen, that you've got that buffer. Okay, so the second place to start would be pay off all debt using Debt Snowball. So once you have your $1,000 as that buffer, a beginner emergency fund, you want to start really focusing in on paying off your debt. And the way you want to pay it off is you list out all the debt that you owe and what the interest rate is, so you have a clear picture of it. And you just simply start paying off and focusing 100% on the one with the lowest balance. Okay, and why is that? Well, because you want to feel the quick win, and there's some psychology to it when you're able to just kind of get those quick results. Okay, so again, you want to list out all your debt and then pay off, focus on the one that has the lowest balance so that you get quick results. Now, I will say that you also want to make sure that you take care of the minimum balance across each of your debt. Okay, so whether it's a revolving or an installment, you want to take care of the minimum at the very least, while you continue to focus in on paying off the one with the lowest balance. And you know, I did this. Okay, a little story in my experience is I had thousands of dollars in debt, credit card, you know, student loans. I even had an expense that I needed to pay the IRS because I had sold a house, and you know, it was crazy. I sold a house, and then I didn't know to save off a certain percentage, you know, for tax time. So I was new to the whole real estate thing. So, you know, obviously I learned better now, but in the beginning, when I was beginning to get into real estate, you know, I sold the house. I just wanted to get rid of it. It was giving me a lot of problems with tenants and stuff. So I was just like, you know, I've had just about enough. So with the money that I made, I just kind of paid off stuff. I paid off debt. I took care of a lot of things. But, you know, it's funny how things happen. And that's why I'm always a proponent of making sure you take care of the behavior aspect of your finances, more so than the tools and techniques. Money mindset and behavior is 80%. Tools and techniques is 20%. And I'm saying that because, again, I took care of all my debt, and yet I quickly racked up debt pretty quickly after that, because I had not taken care of the money mindset. So I want to be just kind of stress that it's so important to invest in ourselves and make sure that we take care of that and do the inner work, so that when we do pay off our debt, that we don't create that cycle again and incur that and really create that self-sabotage, because it comes in cycles. So anyway, I had paid off my debt, and you know, at the beginning of my real estate journey, I didn't know that I had to save an extra amount for the IRS. So I owed thousands of dollars to the IRS, coupled with all the accumulated debt that I had newly incurred. So I mean, it was just a hot mess. And so what did I do? Well, I focused on the fundamentals. And what are the fundamentals? Well, paying off my debt using that debt snowball, listing out all my debt. It was almost like looking in the mirror. I knew I had debt out there, but I didn't know where and with who and how much in terms of the percentage of interest and everything. So I had to sit myself down, which was pretty interesting. There was a lot of procrastination. I procrastinated a lot. So that just goes to show, you know, the mindset wasn't aligned and wasn't there yet. And I hadn't done my inner work. But ultimately, I sat down, listed all my debt, and then slowly started paying off the one with the lowest balance, just so I can get some quick results, and took care of it. And I'm not going to lie to you, it took me years to go ahead and get myself out from under that. But I was happy when I did, and I wanted to make sure that would never, ever happen to me again. So that's when I started investing myself and focusing on the money mindset. That's what I'm all about. So the third place to start when it comes to taking care of your finances, after again you, number one, that beginner emergency fund of $1,000. Number two, you pay off your debt using the debt snowball. Number three is put 3 to 6 months of expenses into savings as a full emergency fund. So when you hear the words emergency fund, or what I like to call the peace of mind fund, it really means 3 to 6 months of expenses. So you've got that buffer. God forbid you lose your job, or there's you know, a gap with getting new clients in your business, or anything that happens in life. You're able to go ahead and take care of that without creating this negative impact in your life, in your family, and yourself. And so the fourth point is investing 15% of your household income in tax favored plans. So, you know, when I talk about, you know, personal finance, increasing your income, saving, paying off debt, and investing, people love the investing part, right? They like that compounding benefit of just making money and seeing their money grow, and that's where they want to begin. But notice that it's step 4, okay? After you've taken care of these fundamentals, and the first place to start when it comes to investing is leveraging these tax-favored accounts that are there for you. What do I mean by that? Well, the Roth IRA, that's a good one, because that means obviously you're paying taxes in the upfront, but when you take out the money, you're not, you know, it's not taxed. So that's one. The second one that I'll quickly bring up here is your 401k. The 401k, a lot of employers match your 401k. So that's awesome. You get free money. So don't leave money on the table. And then also too, you know, you're able to reduce that income. That it really helps a lot of people and their families to be able to, you know, leverage those tax benefits. So, you know, quickly I want to go through step 5. Step 5 is, you know, once you've gotten those things taken care of, you know, certainly for those of us that have children, what's important for us and top of mind, I know for me, I've got twins. They're 2 years old. They just turned 2 actually on the 7th of June, which was like last week. And, you know, something that we talked about a lot was saving for college. College is super expensive. And there's about, you know, 3 different college funds out there. I won't get too into that, but ultimately what I know that my value is to give them, my children, options in life, that they're not pigeonholed into the type of accounts that, you know, are just specifically for going to college in that particular state, right? And so a custodial account is something that we ended up choosing because it gives them, you know, what if my kids don't want to go to college, you know, and they want to start their own businesses? They can do that. You know, they're not, they don't have to be beholden to having to go to college if they don't want to. Maybe they want to start a music or art career, or again, start a business, then they can do that. And here's money for them to go off and take care of that without worrying about all of the debt, you know, that kids incur. And if they want to go to college, great. They, you know, they don't start their life with thousands of dollars in debt. I know for me, when I went to college, I ended up ruining my credit right after college because I was just overwhelmed with so much debt, not just the Sallie Mae, but the other debt, you know, the personal loans that I took to take care of the other stuff, you know, that you know what I'm talking about for those that went to college. There's a lot of other expenses that Sallie Mae doesn't cover that, you know, you need to take care of. Especially in my case, I was really focusing on graduating, and so I didn't necessarily, which hindsight 2020, I probably going back would have taken a part-time job or something, but I just really wanted to focus on enjoying my educational experience and focusing on my education. So yeah, I certainly did, you know, incur additional personal loans. So that shut my credit right out the gate. So, you know, you want to make sure that you avoid that and you give your children a better life and better options. And so that's why the saving for college is number 5 for your children, should you have children. And point 6 is paying off your home early. There is nothing quite like feeling that sense of ownership when your mortgage is paid off. And it's just such a freeing experience that my husband and I are working towards. So, we're working towards that, focusing on paying off that, and being, truly homeowners, and not being beholden to a bank that can, pull the rug right from under you. If anything happens, any emergencies, then you can lose your house. It's not truly completely yours until it's paid off. And so, in my opinion, and so that's certainly something to focus on. Again, it is point 6. So after you've kind of taken care of the basics, right? And then 7, build wealth and give. And so here you continue to invest, open up your options in terms of investing. You free up so much more money. Think about it. You're debt free in terms of credit, or let's say you do have credit cards. Now you've got a more solid foundation, and you're paying these off every month. Should you? Hey, I'm not going to tell you not to. I would discourage it, but if you feel you want to incur more debt, fine. But you've got a system in place and habits in place to go ahead and take care of those quickly. You've got your house paid off, then think of all of that income now available to you to really flow into different investment sources and vehicles now. And then give. You see, we didn't get to the stage of success in life by ourselves. There's so many people that have supported us and helped us along our journey. So we want to pay it forward. Pick and choose your favorite charities or charity events that you can go to now and enjoy, and know that your money is going towards a good cause. I know I've got 3 of my charities that I have selected and chosen that are in my heart, and every year I go ahead and attend these events, contribute, and it's just a wonderful sense of community that you get when you're able to give in a big way. And I know people do tithing, and so they have that spiritual element to it. So absolutely, this is all about flowing money. It's a flow of money, and really understand that, just like water's not stagnant. Stagnant water actually is not a good thing. So neither is money. At the end of the day, it's just energy, right? So you want to make sure that it's flowing and going towards the things that bring you excitement, bring you happiness and joy. And so with that, I will leave you. I'm going to again attend the conference here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. I'm super excited, and I'll show you a few clips when I can throughout the course of the week. And I'll see you next time.